Hello and welcome to another 5 Minutes with Mark. We're going to cover chapter 6, verses 1 to 6. He, that is Jesus, left that place and came to his hometown, and his disciples followed him. On the Sabbath, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard him were astounded. They said, "Where did this man get all this? What is this wisdom that has been given to him? What deeds of power are being done by his hands? Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary, and the brother of James and Joseph and Judas and Simon? And are not his sisters here with us?" And they took offense at him. Then Jesus said to them, "Prophets are not without honor except in their hometown, and among their own kin and in their own house." And he could do no deed of power there, except that he laid his hands on a few sick people and cured them. And he was amazed at their unbelief. So, up until now, we've seen Jesus crisscrossing the Sea of Galilee. But as we get to this text that we've got here, we really don't see that. He just went from one place to another. And on the Sabbath, the traditional day of teaching in the synagogue, he started teaching. And many who heard him were astounded. And it's a different kind of astonishment, I think, than the earlier story about Jesus teaching, when he says, "Today the scripture has been fulfilled." The people in his hometown are astounded because they know him. Some of them grew up with him, or their kids grew up with him, or they grew up with his brothers and his sisters. They know him. They know him as a carpenter, and probably more accurately, that word is more of a builder. But they know him as a carpenter. And they know him as the son of Mary. And that could be, according to one of the people who has made comments on this, one of the commentators, that could be kind of a backwards reference, because usually in Judaism, you don't mention the mother without mentioning the father. So there may even be some suggestion in this that the people of his hometown thought he was illegitimate. And so we've kind of got all that stuff that's boiling up in the back as Jesus comes to the people. And so, because they know him and they know his background and they know his lineage, they were offended by his teaching. And if you think about it, that whole idea of lineage and who you are and where you come from is so important. Because I remember when I went back to my hometown for my dad's funeral, I haven't lived there. Hadn't lived there in 30 years. But as I went back for my dad's funeral, there were many of my mom and dad's old friends, and especially since he was a newspaper man. And so many of them that came to the funeral looked at my son, David, and said, "You look just like your dad at that age." They knew me, and they knew my history in that place, and they knew my place in history. They knew that I was the son of a newspaper owner. And so it's that same kind of thing, I think, that's playing out here in the Gospel of Mark, is they don't expect big things of Jesus. He might have been bar mitzvahed, he might have been through some of the basic knowledge, but the kind of things he's doing, they don't see that he has any reason to be doing them. That wisdom, they just don't see it in him. And so he talks about the fact that prophets are not received in their hometown. But more so after that, he could do no deed of power except laid his hands on a few people, and he was amazed at their unbelief. This is kind of interesting because there are a number of places that we've already heard in Mark's gospel where Jesus talks about faith and healing going together. There are a number of places where he doesn't. But Jesus is amazed at their unbelief. Maybe he thought as the Son of God that they should have known that? Maybe not. I don't know. We'll have to unpack that a little bit down the road. Thanks and have a good day.